Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
Pumped up on Mars, juice, and ketamine.
He is the Thomas Edison plus of our age.
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
I would say 98% really appreciate what he does, but those 2% that are nasty, they are out there in full force.
We are meant for great things in the United States of America, and Elon reminds us of that.
We don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk.
Welcome to Elon Inc., Bloomberg's weekly podcast about Elon Musk. It's Tuesday, April 1st. I'm your host, David Papadopoulos. Now, on Friday night, Elon snuck out an announcement that, as longtime listeners of this show know, was a long time coming. His AI company, xAI, had acquired his social media company, X, in a deal that values the new joint company at over $100 billion. Shades of Tesla buying Solar City? A sign of things to come in the world of AI? Both? And then in Wisconsin, today is election day for the Musk-funded race between a conservative and liberal judge. The stakes are high, although perhaps not as high as Musk has been suggesting. All this comes as Tesla's stock price has been ping-ponged up and down by tariff news, and as protests of the brand show no sign of slowing down. To talk about X, we're joined by one of our regulars, Max Chafkin. Hello to you, Max.
Hello, Papa.
Okay, now we're good. This is the first introduction of Papa on the show. And our social media reporter, and by far the best high school quarterback has ever been on this show, Kurt Wagner. Kurt, hello.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And then later on, Dana Hall, our other regular, will swing by to talk Wisconsin politics. We actually have a surprise to start us off here. Max, you've got something that's coming later this week. Tell us about it.
Yeah, David. So later in the show, not to spoil things, but we will be talking about a little bundle of joy that Elon has. But I have my own bundle of joy that's coming in your podcast feed this week. On Friday, we'll have the first episode of a new show called Everybody's Business.
I like that name.
It's about business.
And everybody.
It's a little bit like Elon Inc. It's going to be me and Stacey Vanek Smith, who people probably know from Marketplace, Planet Money, The Indicator. She's done tons of reporting about markets and business.
And she's going to carry the show.
Yeah, she's going to carry the show, and we're going to have a rotating crew of other experts, guests. It's going to be fun, and we're really excited for everyone to hear it. So you're going to hear it in your podcast feed on Friday, and then for the next few weeks, it'll be here in the Elon Inc. feed. But we're hoping that when the show launches for real in May, you will come over with us to our own podcast
we're not just
feed.
hoping, we're insisting.
Yeah, we're demanding.
We're demanding, right? You're dropping it in the feed on Friday. Now, will Friday going forward, will that be the day it'll always come out on?
That will be the day. It'll come out on Friday, kind of hopefully help people make sense of what happened in the world of business for the past few days, get ready for the weekend. Yeah.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, we're going to start off here and talk about that late night news that broke on Friday, xAI purchasing X. But to get us started here on it, we're going to go back to December when one Kurt Wagner said this.
I got two predictions for this year for Elon Musk. The first is that he's going to fold X, social network formerly known as Twitter, into xAI. So it's going to be a way for him to basically salvage that, struggling business, get investors a way out.
Bang! That's what I'm talking about, Wagner. Huh?
I just feel like people spend huge sums of money on intelligence and various things. They could just listen to our podcast and they would know what is going to happen.
Just listen to Kurt Wagner. Well done, sir. By the way, what was your other prediction? And has it flopped on you?
Well, first off, thank you for having me back for this victory lap. This is all I've ever dreamt about since December, honestly. I think my other prediction was that Elon and
the boys trip.
Donald Trump will go on a boys trip to visit. I may have said Kim Jong-un, but I think Vladimir Putin should fall into that camp as well. And I still think that's a real possibility.
He's on the verge of 2 for 2. All right. What's very good. Way, way, way better than me. I'm 0 for so far. But let's focus on this one. Give us a little bit more of a sense of what you were thinking at the time. and in turn, what your understanding of the particulars of this deal now is.
Well, I think it kind of shaped up how I thought, which is that it feels like this is a deal specifically tailored to bail out X investors, right? And think about it this way. If you are an investor in X a week ago, you had shares in what has mostly been a struggling social networking company with an ads business that is about half the size that it was when Elon acquired it, with no real reason to think that that was going to change anytime soon. Suddenly, your investment is now part of an AI startup that is, worth 3 times the amount of money. And you really didn't lose any money, right? He acquired the company, XAI acquired X at roughly the same price that he paid for it 2.5 years ago. So you just take your money from a business that has low upside to a business with very high upside. And I think this was really a way to make X investors whole and give them something more optimistic to look forward to.
Yeah, and I will say on that point that being made whole is a hell of a lot better than the way it looked at multiple points over the past couple of years. I think Fidelity was marking it down 40, 50%. The only thing to be clear on here is just being made whole and getting out even over a 2.5-year period ain't great. The S&P 500 over that time period, Max Chafkin, up 46%, I will note. So really, you could have just pretty much been blindly investing in the index and been up, made a hell of a lot more money. But I want to talk for a second, Max, on Kurt's first point, which is a bailout of X investors. We've seen this movie before from Elon, one Elon company buying another, or at least one Elon company buying a company he's closely affiliated with. Tesla and Solar City. Is this Tesla Solar City Part 2?
I mean, it's very similar. And I think, we have anticipated not just Kurt's prediction, but on this podcast for like more than a year, we've been talking about, and I think it was actually Kurt also who first suggested this around the time when his book came out, which everyone should read. But basically the idea that X has sort of a diminished business outlook, and that AI is one of the only ways that it can kind of find a way to find opportunity. And you had this sort of awkwardness where XAI is training on Twitter data. Many of XAI's shareholders are the same as Twitter shareholders. The main distribution platform for XAI's chatbot, which is called Grok, is X. So it was weird that they were two separate companies to kind of begin with. Of course. Well,
maybe it was to have, so the AI company had a clean slate, didn't have any baggage with it. I mean, because certainly there was a lot of baggage from X.
For sure. And Musk has operated his companies. There's a reason we call the show Elon Inc., because Elon Musk runs his businesses like one conglomerate, like Elon Inc. And what happened with Solar City is you had basically a troubled solar panel installer. It had looked really promising when Elon Musk started it. They managed to get all these subsidies from state and national governments to install panels. All of a sudden, you had all these other companies come in, a lot of competition, turns into basically a low-margin business. Lo and behold, Tesla acquires it. And that is sold as part of the Elon Musk master plan. And at the time, the Elon Musk master plan was around, green energy. You're going to have electric cars. You're going to have solar panels on your roofs. There were, of course, shareholder lawsuits because
on the Tesla side, people saying, "Hey, you're bailing out this company. You're diluting me. I'm getting screwed." Those lawsuits failed in the end, correct?
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of for the same. I think. Well, there are probably other reasons too, but we've seen this movie over and over where shareholders in Elon Musk companies have basically agreed that they're going to just do whatever Elon Musk wants, that it's hard to separate Elon Musk. They've basically gone along with the story I just told, that all these companies are basically one conglomerate. So my guess is that the shareholders of XAI, as much as they are, like Kurt says, bailing out a struggling social media company, they're probably going along with this as just the price of doing business. I do want to say...
It's also, by the way, in the case of XAI, it's a much smaller investor universe than you'd have in the case of Tesla, where you have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of investors, perhaps?
Yeah, I do want to say, I think there's something here for these XAI shareholders. As much as we're bailing out X, The fundraising environment for AI companies is getting worse right now. If I were a prospective investor in a company like XAI, I would ask myself, what exactly is the relationship between XAI and X? That would be like a risk factor. And in a way, I think this clarifies it, makes it easier for Elon Musk to potentially package this to investors, as much as it's kind of funky that he's combined this troll farm / social network / political influence project that is X with this world leading chatbot or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt, that is a good point, right? Where you have had up till now a pretty funky intercompany relationship where, X and XAI do business together. It seems like at some point, right, XAI pays X by we'll buy you 5 cups of coffee, at a Starbucks, and in turn, we'll let you babysit for our kid. It was all sort of weird, funky accounting. Why not? They're just this just simplifies the whole thing. Hey, it's all just one big company.
I think that's right. On paper, this makes sense when you think, okay, an AI company is buying a giant social network that has this proprietary data set. It's going to help Grok reach millions of consumers. All of those things make sense. Where they don't make sense for a $33 billion acquisition is that the owner of both those companies is the same person who already has control over them. So it's not as if X was going to go suddenly do some data licensing deal with OpenAI, because Elon would never do that. It's not as if XAI was going to go, kick X to the curb and say, never mind, we're going to do our distribution over on Facebook, because Elon would never do that. So my point is that while, yes, this makes sense on paper, the linchpin here is the Elon of it all. And because he owned and controls both companies, buying one of them for this amount of money to the other, to me, feels like a weird financial transaction that didn't need to happen to get the benefits.
Yeah, no, I get it. But there is a face-saving value here to be able to say that you got out, everyone got out whole
but
plus
do you think,
2%.
Kurt, anyone would use XAI without Grok? Without Twitter, does XAI have a business?
I mean, it has a business as much as OpenAI has a business, right? They would just have to find a different distribution model for their chatbot. So
right, and a different set of raw material to train off of. And I guess this is my other question for you, Kurt. Is this truly the future of social media companies, that they are largely just human social posting farms or factories, some iteration of Soylent, in essence, to feed the robot?
Well, let's think about it. So X is doing this with XAI. Facebook, Instagram are doing this with Meta AI. Reddit has licensed its data to Google. What does that leave, right? I think Snap has a relationship with Google as well, I believe. So pretty much every social network out there is doing a version of this. Now, is that the only reason for them to exist? I would certainly say no. But has this become a maybe unexpected business opportunity for all of these places? Certainly that seems to be the case.
Okay. So I should keep posting. If I do post, if I were to post, which I don't, I should keep posting, appreciating that there is some other value out there beyond just informing the robots.
I presume someone follows you, David. I don't know. So
can I say that
your
on
follower?
X?
Yeah, your follower might appreciate you still posting, but
all right. Who invited Kurt to this show? Was it you, Max? Why do we have Kurt? First of all, gloating about his grand prediction, and second of all, talking the host. But I will just say on X, I do have a few followers, which is kind of amazing because I've never posted on it. Now, Max, he goes here from 6 companies in the constellation of Elon Inc. to 5. Does it make his life any easier, simpler, or same difference?
No, I think it's the same. Like I said, he was already running them like one company. I do wonder what this means for
Linda.
Good friend of the pod, Linda Yaccarino, who, Kurt, I don't know. Do you have an understanding of what her role is going forward?
Currently CEO of X.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Kurt?
I don't know. And that was one of the questions I posed after this, right? Is what does this mean for her? On the one hand, she could continue to run X in the way she's already doing that, as sort of maybe a business unit of XAI, right? But as these companies become closer and closer together. Usually when there's a merger like this, you merge HR and you merge sales and you merge engineering. And so it kind of becomes a little bit, unless they're going to keep X completely independent of XAI, which feels like it would defeat the purpose of this merger, it sort of also feels like it would erode her power, right? Because she's not going to have as many people reporting to her, as many divisions or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. She was obviously, she was cheerleading this deal when it happened on Friday, and certainly saying the things that she would want.
Yeah, it could just be a nice opportunity to exit stage left here for her.
Yeah. But I don't know what's going to happen is the short answer.
Got it. Kurt Wagner, as always, thank you for joining us, sir. Congratulations on your brilliant December 2024 prediction.
Thank you for having me. Hope to be back.
It's one of those things that may seem like it's obviously important in the state of Wisconsin, but I think it could actually be important for the country as well, and maybe for the world. So.
Okay, we're joined now by our other regular, Dana Hull. Dana, welcome back.
Hey.
And Dana, of course, Elon here is referring to the Supreme Court election coming up in Wisconsin. The vote ends today. Results maybe we'll know as soon as tonight. You have a terrific story out about the election this morning. Remind us of the particulars here.
Yeah, so Wisconsin is one of the states that has an open election for its Supreme Court justices. And Elon, as Elon does, is kind of like doubling down on this race in Wisconsin. He flew to Wisconsin on Sunday, gave a town hall. He also did some kind of like telecall about the race last night. And this is all at a time when there is enormous backlash to Musk being involved with politics and the Trump administration and Doge. But he is basically repeating his playbook, dangling money before voters. He wore a cheese head on stage, and he sort of was like, we've got to do this, people. And his PAC is texting everyone, and it'll be a real test of whether the political operation that he's built will endure beyond Trump and be able to impact these statewide races.
Okay. And the vote for the Supreme Court justice whichever party's candidate gets it, will effectively take control of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, correct?
Correct. Right now, it's a 7-member court, 4-3 majority hangs in the balance. And, state Supreme Court looks at everything from collective bargaining rights, abortion rights, redistricting. Redistricting is always very important when it comes to determining House seats. And so in Elon's mind, this is like another fork in the road of destiny for civilization. And he is, encouraging everyone to vote and really pushing it very hard in the final days.
One of the big questions we had at the time last week was, would the value of the money he's putting up ultimately be greater than the downside that he creates by attaching his name to the Republican candidate there? We weren't exactly sure at the time. 7 days later, any greater clarity on that point?
Well, there's no question that Elon's involvement is shaping the contours of the race. A lot of people went to see Elon speak on Sunday night. His PAC has door knockers. They are running digital ads on Facebook. He is very much helping to swing the race in the way that he did when he barnstormed across Pennsylvania for President Trump. But what's different this cycle is that Trump himself is not on the ballot. And so it really remains to be seen how close this election will be and whether Musk's imprint had the sway that it did. Also, Elon is a far less popular person now than he was in October.
Yeah, Democrats are, Elon's involvement here is going to be a factor sort of on the Democratic side. Democrats are tying this race to Elon Musk, which would have happened probably even if he hadn't given any money, frankly, because Elon Musk is like one of the most unpopular parts of the Trump
face of Doge.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that he's giving all his money, of course, is going to make those attacks stickier. That said, the money that Elon's giving is so much
it
here.
Could overwhelm
I don't
the
think
downside.
It's a little bit hard to even get your head around it. Last week,
what is the number?
We don't know the total number because this is all happening so quickly. Last week we had Ted Mann here saying that, third-party estimates were putting it around $14 million out of somewhere in the 70s. This is already the most expensive state judicial race ever. And that's before we saw all this additional spending. That was mostly TV money. Now we're seeing Musk writing, I think my count, Dana, is $3 million checks thus far.
I think that's right.
We've seen he's paying $100 per petition signer. By the way, all these payments are sort of designed to be like right up to the edge of election law.
The sense is they are indeed on the right side of the law? Who knows?
No, I don't think that sense is at all clear. We were seeing repeated legal challenges. And, even during this event, Musk acknowledged, and he did the same during the 2024 race. He acknowledged this is the point. The point is to do these stunts and get media coverage when Democrats say you are breaking election law.
Dana, did you have in that story today a hard number on how much Musk has spent so far?
Well, the way that my brain thinks about the math is the race is above 80 million total. Musk has put in, I would say, roughly 20 million. But to Max's point, we're not going to get a final tally until later. But I think it's fair to think of Musk has put in a quarter or 25% of all of the spending there is.
Yeah, and I think we should think about 20 million. Again, Dana, this is a guesstimate, but it's a lower limit.
We just have to kind of remind our listeners that the conventional wisdom in Washington was Elon and Trump are not going to survive. They're going to have a big blowout. Doge is going to be this short-lived experiment, and then eventually Elon will take his ball and go home and focus on Tesla. That hasn't happened yet. Tesla stock is cratering, sales are going to be bad, and yet Elon is doubling down on politics and making it very clear that, it was not enough to elect Trump. He really wants to keep the House of Representatives, and he is going all in on these state races. He's also giving money in Florida in some House races there. So this is a longer game political play by Musk that Max and I have told our listeners and our readers about for months now. People have got to think wider about Musk's political ambitions.
Tell us a little bit about those votes in Florida today.
Yeah, so you have two House races. One, Florida's first, which is in the Panhandle. It's Matt Gaetz's seat. That race is thought to be, that's a very, very heavily Republican district. It would be very hard for the Democrats to win. Florida's sixth, which is the one where Elon Musk's PAC came in at the very last minute, is also heavily Republican, although not as heavily Republican. And it looks like the Democrat might have kind of an outside chance, at least to make it close. We've seen this kind of broader thing happen nationally where Republicans are suddenly realizing that the electoral environment may be very poor. Trump pulled Elise Stefanik's nomination for UN ambassador. That was seen as another effort to sort of shore up the House. So you're seeing, and that's one of the reasons.
And Elon, as you said, in Florida, he's pretty much involved. His PAC's involved pretty much in all these in one shape or another.
No, I think the one we know about is Florida 6, the closer race, and it's not a ton of money. I checked yesterday, and it was $60,000. Again, this is a few days ago.
It's dated.
So, you could imagine it going up pretty quickly, like if he does a TV buy or something. But that said, this looks like more of a last minute thing, not a, where Elon is reacting to the same thing that Republicans nationally are reacting to.
Which is like a holy smokes.
Oh no, we need to do anything we can to help.
Just to make
Wisconsin has been a much more deliberate, basically series of acts of political activism.
Because it's been neck and neck the whole way there.
Huge number of employees, canvassers on the ground, a lot of money, like Dana said. And, Musk during this town hall, basically said, I don't expect to win. Now, politicians and activists say that all the time in a way to lower expectations. Maybe if he does win, then he gets to have a huge celebration. But if you take him at his word, I don't think we should think of this as if Elon loses, he's out of Republican politics. My reading is he is, no matter what happens in this.
There's life after the Wisconsin Supreme Court race?
Yeah, he is going to play. This is more like a signal of what is to come in the midterms rather than this is going to be a test for how he behaves in the midterms.
Yeah, and Dana also referenced how his involvement, as we well know, his involvement in politics is hurting his company, Tesla, quite a bit. And when he spoke the other day in Wisconsin, he mentioned that. This is what he had to say.
It's my Tesla stock and the stock of everyone who holds Tesla went roughly in half. I mean, it's a big deal. So not only am I not getting I'm not getting paid, definitely not stealing money and would never get away with it, but the value of my Tesla stock is in half. So this is a very expensive job, is what I'm saying.
Can I just do a little fact check here? So the stock in half, I don't totally know what he's talking about. I mean, I suppose what he's talking about is that the stock is down from reaching its peak of like post-Trump euphoria in December. I think it's down about 40%, not quite half. But like, it's still like about where it was when the election happened. And we've seen Elon express similar sentiment elsewhere. He was in that Fox interview complaining that Tim Walz was being mean to him. Like he's definitely in a sort of mode where he's primed to feel aggrieved. But again, here's the way to think about it. If you wanna back him on the way he's framing the numbers, Trump wins. He plays a huge role in getting Trump elected. He's now in with the administration. He and his company stand to benefit a lot from that. Hence, Tesla rips, soars. Right. It's only when the true role he's going to play with Doge and what Doge is going to do and the havoc it's going to wreak that you really start to see the stock crater, I believe. I mean, perhaps it was probably already coming down a bit. So that would be the frame. Like, in other words, I could be backing Trump. I could be his big, financial arm. I could be tight with him. And I don't need to do Doge. I mean, why do I need to do Doge in order to be close to Trump? Right. That, I guess, would be the spin he's putting on it. But, Dana, while all this is swirling, you also had Trump announce auto tariffs, which we've been expecting a lot of tariffs, and a lot of tariffs are apparently coming tomorrow. We didn't quite expect auto tariffs to come, and there's been a lot of debate as to whether Tesla benefits from these auto tariffs or is hurt by them.
I don't know why I expected auto tariffs to come. I mean, Trump campaigned on America First, and Tesla's CFO said, our profitability is going to be hurt by tariffs on the last earnings call. So what shape the tariffs took, people were confused about. I think what people have gotten wrong is they think that Tesla is somehow exempt from tariffs, and they're not, because it's not just cars, it's parts. And Tesla does import a fair number of parts from other countries. And so they're not immune from tariffs. They just are in a slightly better position because they don't, the cars that they sell in the United States are made in the United States. They're not importing cars from Mexico.
It could be a big day tomorrow, right? Because we've got
Liberation Day.
Well, we're going to learn, because it's Liberation Day, and we're going to find out exactly how these tariffs shake out. I mean, that's wishful thinking. But anyway, there'll be some kind of tariff update. We're going to get the results.
We're not going to be liberated tomorrow.
Dan and I will be staying up late, but most normal people will get the results from the Wisconsin election in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then Tesla is about to report what most analysts believe is going to be a very, very, very bad quarter.
Right. I did mean to ask this. This comes out tomorrow evening, Dana?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Okay. Yeah. Wow, it is.
Yeah.
It is a big day.
I mean, it could be
it's like a triple witching kind of thing.
It could be like a perfect storm of bad. On the other hand, maybe, who knows? Maybe it's all good. Maybe they romp in Wisconsin and Tesla does a little bit. The expectations are so low right now with Tesla's deliveries, notwithstanding last week's conversation where, of course we talked to a bull, but if you talk to a lot of analysts, they are very down on this because of the political stuff, because of what we've seen from Europe. So if, I guess there's a possibility he could surprise somehow.
Okay, super hard pivot here, Max. Away from Tesla, auto sales, and tariffs, let's talk babies.
All right, so this is baby number 13, I believe.
Is that right, Dana?
That we've learned
13?
There are 14.
Yeah, there are 14. I guess it's are we counting Ashley's as number 13 and Siobhan's fourth as number 14? And we don't know the order in which they were born.
Can you show your math, Max?
Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, this is in the order that we learned of the babies existing.
Yes.
This is baby 13 of 14. And essentially, we saw sort of a Twitter spat between Elon Musk and the mother of this child, Ashley St. Clair, who is a conservative influencer. She showed up in sort of a paparazzi video, essentially saying that she was selling her Tesla in order to pay for the cost of, raising her children, because Elon Musk, according to her, has, cut her, basically essentially stopped paying as much in child support.
This is another thing driving consumers away.
It's one more Tesla owner who if
you weren't bearish before, you're bearish now.
Going one step further than the sticker. Musk responded, I don't know if the child is mine or not, but
please don't sell your car.
But I'm not against finding out.
Oh, so you said he's not against finding out. Okay.
Which I don't know what that means.
DNA test?
But then she responded, well, we asked you to take a paternity test before the child was even born, and you refused, and you're a petulant child. Like, it's just gotten very ugly. Laura Loomer is sort of adjacent to all this, too. It's just like...
What's Laura Loomer have to do
She's
with
attacking... So Ashley Sinclair, because she is beefing with Elon Musk, is now on the wrong side of the conservative Twitter ecosystem. They are, including Loomer, are kind of talking about her as essentially as a turncoat and worse. You can imagine some of the kind of sexist tropes that are being deployed against the mother of one of his children, particularly locked in a, dispute over child support. Obviously, it's not pretty.
No, I can't imagine it is.
And it does, I have to say, does show you. Maybe this was obvious. This is probably obvious to most normal people, but Musk has sort of gone around acting like he can have as many children as he wants without any negative consequences. And now we see, he's in a dispute with Ashley Sinclair. He's in a dispute with Grimes, who's a musician and the mother of another one of his children. It's getting messy.
Let's not forget about Vivian, his biological child, who was just on the cover of Teen Vogue. She is being very brave, speaking out and giving her side of the story about what it was like to have Elon Musk as a father.
Okay, we're going to wrap, but as we do, Dana, on Elon Inc. here, you are the keeper of such things, and I have to say at the very beginning of this little segment, I was confused. What is the official number of children that you say, and as a result, we say, Elon Musk currently has?
This is the line that I use. Elon Musk has fathered at least 14 children that we know of.
Very important you use that. You add that last clause.
Very good. In hindsight, somebody in the December 2024 prediction should have come up with a forecast on how many kids.
We had one. Rehan Harmansi, senior editor. And the creator of this very show, I can't remember, but she predicted more children, and it has come true.
No, but that's not a prediction. Well, she'll have more. That's like saying the sun's going to come up. How many children is really the prediction? That's going to be one of my December 2025 predictions.
I feel like you're just mad because Chancer, or whoever the hell you picked to win the Derby,
Runs this weekend. Max, before I say goodbye to you and Dana, remind us one more time.
Yep, Everybody's Business. It'll be in your feed on Friday. Please let us know what you think and give us a chance. We're really excited about this show, and we think you're going to really like it.
Terrific. Max, Dana, thanks as always.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This episode was produced by Stacey Wong. Anna Masarakis is our editor, and Rehan Harmansi, our senior editor. Blake Maples handles engineering, and Dave Purcell fact checks. Our supervising producer is Magnus Henriksen. The Elon Inc. theme is written and performed by Taka Yasuzawa and Alex Sugiura. Brendan Francis Noonan is our executive producer, and Sage Bauman is the head of Bloomberg Podcasts. A big thanks, as always, to our supporters Joel Weber and Brad Stone. I'm David Papadopoulos. If you have a minute, rate and review our show. It'll help other listeners find us. See you next week. Hey there, don't go yet. I want to tell you about a new series from my colleagues here at Bloomberg. It's called Levittown. It's about a technology that's moving faster than the law. About dozens of young women in a New York suburb who discovered manipulated photos of themselves on a porn website. Told there isn't much the police or anyone else can do, they decide to fight back, joining a global battle against deep fakes. Please note, the trailer for the show you're about to hear features adult themes.
5 years ago, this was a vast checkerboard of potato farms on New York's Long Island. Today, this is Levittown, one of the most remarkable housing developments ever conceived.
Levittown, New York, America's first suburb. Row after row after row of cookie-cutter homes. The picture of the American dream. But recently, underneath the facade of perfect order, a group of young women found themselves in an AI-fueled nightmare.
Someone was posting photos of many of the girls that we had gone to school with.
There was one picture of me in a bathing suit, and I didn't have a bathing suit on anymore. It was just me naked. Well, not me, but me with someone else's body parts that looked exactly like my own.
Over the last few years, rapid breakthroughs in machine learning have made it a lot easier and cheaper to make real-looking photos or videos of pretty much anything you can think of. But innovation comes at a price.
I felt gross. I felt like I needed to take a shower. I felt like I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to scream.
This is a story about a technology that is moving faster than the law, where everyone is a suspect, even your neighbours.
It was always in the back of my head like, oh, it's someone that I know. But how do you find out who that someone is when you know so many people from school, soccer, all of these things?
What we discovered in Levittown led us on a winding journey.
I just always had in the back of my mind that any of them could be the one.
Through the darkest corners of the internet.
They call it an arms race between law enforcement and technology. And it's just, we're losing. We are absolutely losing.
Where online vigilantes and enterprising detectives are joining forces.
If you're given prey, you want to go and get it.
In this story, the victims flip the script, band together, and fight back, alongside some unexpected global allies.
I'm Margie Murphy.
And I'm Olivia Carville.
This is Levittown, a new podcast series from iHeart Podcasts, Bloomberg, and Kaleidoscope. Listen to Levittown starting on March 21st on Bloomberg's Big Take podcast. Find it on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.